Today I'm gonna show you how to make your videos look like a movie in the simplest way I found. Since I started shooting with the camera, I wanted to create the best possible videos. And while watching other creators' content, I thought, oh my god, I wish I could shoot such beautiful videos. After years of researching, I found out that there's a lot of tricks out there that help you achieve this cinematic look. And today I'm sharing with you one of them. But first, what makes these videos so impactful? What is the key feature that makes them different? Well, that is the filmic look. And thankfully for us, we have a cheat code, and it's called Dehancer. Before diving into the video, I would like to make a disclaimer. This is not a sponsored video. The tool we're gonna use today is a paid plugin for Davinci Resolve. And the guys from Dehancer are not paying me anything for making this video. They have granted me access to the tool so I can create this video and show you guys what Dehancer is capable of. So keep in mind, I will be 100% honest with my opinions. Once we have this out of the way, let's jump into the computer. Okay, so we're gonna divide the video in two parts. First, I'm gonna show you what is Dehancer, how can you use it, and all the options that offers. And then on the second part, I'm gonna show you how I integrated Dehancer into my workflow. I have just opened Davinci and I have included some videos from my last trip to Japan. Let's jump into the color tab and let's create just two nodes. The first one, we're gonna call it primaries, and then the second one, we're gonna call it Dehancer. To include Dehancer, we just need to click on effects and then search for Dehancer. There you go, we drop it here. When you drop Dehancer into the node, it already applies some effects on the video, and I would say that's not good because it's a little bit overwhelming. We have a lot of different tabs. Let's go one by one and I will let you know how all of this works. First, we need to press Option and any of these tabs. So we will open all of them up, and then if you click again, we will close all of them at the same time. And we're gonna go straight to Options because here we can just say disable all tools, and as you can see, the effect will be gone on my video. Once we have that, let's go to Input, and here you will convert your video from log to Rec 709. In this case, we're gonna say choose camera. I was shooting with a Sony, it was an A7S III, and I was shooting in S-Log3 Gamma 3 Cine. So we have already our conversion into Rec 709, that's perfect. Right under here we have some more settings that we could touch. These are our basic settings, but I rather prefer to do it in this first node, which is primaries. Then we just go to film. If you click on enable, you will see that some effects are already getting applied. And here in film, we can choose and all of the different profiles that Dehancer have included into the program, which are a lot. The one that I use the most is the one that comes by default, which is Kodak Vision 3 250D. So let's just choose this one for the video. You can choose and try all of them, and you can just decide on the one you like the most. Under there we have push and pull. This is a little bit complicated to explain. Just think about this slider as something that allows you to change and decide on different taste of the same profile. Then I would advise you to go right over to print. We can choose between these four, which are the print profiles. And the most famous one and the one that I use the most is Kodak 2383. So here you can change the target white so you can make it warmer or cooler, and some overall exposure and contrast settings. Color density is something that I also use a lot. Let's jump into Film Developer, which will help us a lot on the contrast management, also gamma correction that I don't use a lot, and color boost that I also use a lot. Film compression, if you enable it, you will see that it's targeting the highlights. This will mimic how film treat highlights on the videos, so you can enable it and see whether if you like it or not. Expand will help us a lot on choosing our black and white points. Before you keep going in, you can see that the contrast is very important in Dehancer. So as you can see, I have applied Film Developer and then print. The image is so contrasty. So that's why we are using the primaries, because we're gonna change the contrast right here. We're gonna go less contrast, and then we're gonna use pivot to adjust it to our liking. Okay, as you can see, that's much better. Also, saturation is very important. You need to know where to touch to improve your saturation. You have color boost, which actually does a lot, and then you also have color density, which does also a lot. Perfect, so let's keep going with it. Next is color head, which is something that I almost never try. You can touch some of the colors, yellow versus blue, magenta versus green, cyan versus red. I don't really use this. Film grain, we are getting into the very best of the program, which in my opinion is the next 3 tabs. Let's start with film grain. Film grain, as you can see, I'm gonna zoom in right here, and whenever I enable it, you get a ton of film grain, which is amazing, and is one of the key things that makes your footage more filmic, more cinematic. You have a lot of different presets, different profiles, and you even have some custom settings, so you can really dial in the film grain that you want. In my opinion, I normally use 35mm ISO 50. It's a little bit too much. You can also use the amount slider to dim it down, or you can just go into the 60mm 50 ISO. As you can see, it is much less noticeable. Next, halation, which I love. Halation is the key of Dehancer. What is halation? Whenever you have high contrast areas on the highlights, look what happens when I enable halation. You see all of these red details that we can, you see right there? That's halation. So if we go into 35, which is the normal one, it's not applying a lot of it. Right here, you don't have a lot of difference because this shot is not very contrasty on the highlights. But if you want more, much more noticeable halation, the trick is to go to 35 or Super 35, no remjet. You click in this one and boom, you have a lot more. Here actually we need to touch the amplified slider and we have to dim it down. We go into bloom. Bloom will make your footage much more soft. It's gonna blow, like glow the highlights. Let's enable it. You see right here on the edge. Nice, I love it. Look at here. Yeah. So basically it's like having a promised filter, but without having a promised filter in the camera. Let's continue. So we have film damage, you see, all of this. We have film breath, again, a lot more visible in 8mm. You see how it changes the hue. Gate wave is gonna give some movement that mimics the movement of the Super 35, or in this case, Super 8. You see like the overscan will get us this cool overlays that I really like. You have a lot of different ones. That's pretty cool. Then we have vignette. I found out that you can click here and then move your vignette whatever you want. So you can make a vignetting on the video and it's actually pretty cool. Monitor, you have some tools like false color to decide if your exposure is well. And then output, you can actually dim down the whole filter, like the whole thing you've done with Dehancer. You can like say, all right, I want it on a 50%. And LUT generator, if you are happy with what you did, you can just export a LUT with all the presets you have over here, which is very nice. So that's basically how Dehancer works. It has a ton of different options, it has a ton of tabs. You need to lose yourself into Dehancer and you really need to understand how all of these sliders work. But once you understand all of these settings, it helps you to create these amazing looks. But now let's jump into the second part of the video, that is how do I use Dehancer and how did I integrate this tool into my workflow. So I want you to understand that over the years I have developed my own style on color grading, and also I have created my own note tree. As you can see over here, we have all of these notes. There's a lot of stuff over there. I cannot get deep into it. I just want you to understand that I use Dehancer as the cherry on top to make my edit a lot better. And the way that I do it is by creating a note in the end of everything. If we activate this node, you will see that I'm only using film grain, halation, and bloom. And that's why, for me, this is key in Dehancer. The film grain that it has, it's something else. I love it. That's why I always use the 35 ISO 50 or the 65 ISO 50, depending on how rough I want this grain. Then the halation, it elevates the shot on a way that it's amazing. It's adding all of this halation into the scene. It could be quite too much, but I love it this way. And then the halation, as always, it's so beautiful. For example, let's jump into this next shot. As you can see, I'm using a lot of halation, a lot of blooming. This next shot, look how it changes. This next shot, halation. Halation is key. And then you have this one, which is also a beautiful shot. For me, the bloom is the thing that sells this shot. If we can even make it a little bit much more noticeable. Wow, I love it. This is amazing. Same with this shot. Look how much it changed. Look at these flowers and look at this. Boom. Change to this one. Boom. Look how much it changed. Look how much. I love it. So as you can see, Dehancer is an amazing tool that I'm gonna use from now on my edit. And it plays a huge role on the filmic look that I'm able to achieve. If you found this video useful, drop a like and consider subscribing because there's a lot more videos coming talking about how to improve your filmmaking skills. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one. Peace.